Trenton Garmon, 2024, 11/29 to November 29th of 2024. It's as convenient of a time as any to do a human AI, state of AI trustee update. I'll share my screen. You may not can see it, but it showed for the first about 15 seconds, two participants, because Zoom got in a loop, and I'm not sure why it believes my prior Zoom session was still open because it was not. But that further proves the point that I'm going to make throughout this state of AI video. Back, and I've been coding since about 1999, really probably late 80s and early 90s. Of course, video games, getting code books, Legends of Zelda, Mortal Kombat, John Madden football, all that stuff. Anywho, these AI loops, which are interactions of AI and AI trying to get you to continue to look at the screen, the purpose of clicks and or spend money, those are going to continue to, I think, get worse. And so technology, more likely than not, is not going to improve, but it's become less effective and efficient over about the past 5 to 10 years. Probably with good products and good hardware. But anywho, here's a point that I want to make with regards to some of the restrictions. You can see recorded here as a pop-up, because this was all typed in by somebody that created it. You can't use this feature right now. This is on Facebook. And these are ways that AI manipulates and leads you to purchases to particular platforms, socially exiles people through the algorithm factoring, or otherwise socially elevates them, depending on the fact pattern, depending on the subject, scope, whoever it is, individual as well. But you can see I started a new account, and this notice came up. You can't use this feature right now. We limit how often you can post, comment, or do other things in any given amount of time in order to help protect the community from spam. You can try again later. Learn more. Learn more doesn't even work. So they're telling me, just like some of the, and I wish I didn't have this knowledge, but apps at jail kiosks, they call it a cool down period, where if you're typing up a bunch of complaints, asking your bonds person if they've got a messaging system for them, or messaging medical, or messaging the deputy civil rights complaint, they put you on 2 hour, hour and a half, 90-minute cool down period. So Facebook is now doing the same thing as a way to manipulate and control online traffic, which would violate really terms and conditions, because they're presupposing what I'm going to post with spam, which absolutely is not. But this is the new account, Trentissimo Fabula. My name is Trenton Garmon. Trentissimo means 13 in Italian. My first fiance gave me that nickname, and Fabula just means being. So there's nothing inappropriate or fraudulent about that. And I bring that up because I had a panel with an ethics group, a lawyer from the DOJ. I'd signed Trenton Garmon not guilty, parental alienation on a guilty form. He was acting like I'd done something wrong by pleading not guilty on a guilty form. I think people's ability to cognitively understand misrepresentations versus this is truth, I have been denied the process to offer the facts, is very evident. Due process is frustrated many times in courts and courts of public opinion and enforcing online, because they're beginning to time manage and force people out. This is my page that just as of last week was accessible, but Facebook has shut that down. I'm not sure why. And I'm showing you these pop-ups to prove what I'm saying. AI suppresses my posts. I put that on there the 21st. Today is the 29th. I went to the VA hospital today because I play the piano there as a volunteer, being a protector of the free. I was in the class of 2003 at West Point, had computer science in 99 at the academy. And I talked with Alan, who said that there's even and I haven't seen it yet, but a Google AI that will take text, any kind of like manuscript, and convert it into a video podcast. So the extent of this AI advancement, and it's an interactive game that's wanting to suck human time and data, is very, very clear in the ways that they push and process people to that. I'm hoping to expose with some of this. One of which is I'm a big contributor to the open web. I believe in commonwealth string code. All the data that's online belongs to we the people. And I do not think big tech has the right to be onion exiling or otherwise onion disindexing or unindexing pages that have truthful articles, pages that have good studies or journals to include like suppression medical journals regarding COVID or kidney disease, suppression political issues. These big tech companies, when they do this, and I show this here with the Google big algorithm discrimination, I got a lawsuit pending on that. If it were to be in front of a jury that Google was social scoring, let's use the most hot buttons you can, Indians, black people, Chinese, just use the term, because I believe in tribes, use the term, or Catholics or Hindus, you would find that as a juror to be an unconstitutional breach, open fair market, equal protection violation. I mean, you name it, products liability. But because of the extent of Google's lockdown of the web and how they litigate their cases, they've got these lawyers that will defend them and basically misrepresent to the courts. It's indisputable. They misrepresent to the courts. And then Google washes, or they'll go on Wikipedia and they will scrub all that litigation history from the web. I can show that to you too, because I did a court search and there are hundreds of courts that have got cases across the country. I mean, different, obviously, federal jurisdictions with plaintiffs that have filed, and the cases have either settled, been resolved, or been thrown out. But it didn't mean that the fact pattern that was filed wasn't tested and could have not been proven true. It meant that it wasn't tested by a juror, just by a judge, and he threw it out or she threw it out. So the point is, this algorithmic discrimination is happening across the board. It's happening to Democrats and Republicans. It's happening to Gentiles and Hebrews, which is white folks, black folks, men, women, you name it. There's some way that either one big tech or another is algorithm scoring you, and we need to have open disclosure of those algorithms. What are you using as factors? Google, what is your primary 30 or your primary 200? What all factors are you evaluating? Somebody pro-life, pro-abort? Because even if you're an abortionist, I think you should have open access to the web, just like I think a pro-life doctor should also have open access to the web. And you shouldn't be fed misinformation fed about you because of political subject matter. So that's the point. Any discrimination in an algorithm should be checked by the government. It's their civil duty for the Constitution to secure those things. So here's another description too that I think is important for the Human AI Trustee update, is that both OpenAI, which is utilized by Bing, and Bing itself and Copilot have created fictional genres about a case that I've had before. And the reason that matters is because the result of the case was positive. This Joyce Fecto case right here, my client was found not guilty. I'm only hoping to do this for about 10 minutes. I'm really fatigued. But there was a description. I just sent this out yesterday to my list. But this shows Q's Holy Water found not guilty. So I tried that case in front of Judge Silver Cleveland, and that's back in 2013. Now, this is what I sent out yesterday. And I'm hoping I can break through without any tech errors here and show you and the watchers of this video in the future. But I went for a biography, basically, sounding, and typed in something to the effect like, tell me about the Holy Water case and Trenton Garmon to test. Because I've had so much fake news. I've been doing AI hygiene, cleaning up through AI hygiene false stories about political subject matters that are important, I think, and constitutional. This is what I sent out yesterday. And I'm not going to show you all those people, but that's basically 400 leaders, whether it's UN, senators, or, they're my protectors, or journalists. So I send this as kind of undercurrent news, and then I put it on at least two, usually three general platforms to be dragged by web crawlers to straighten out some of the bullshit news. But I sent yesterday, Sacred as the Spies laid out how people are not really practicing the faith, but that's irrelevant to the subject matter particularly. Happy Thanksgiving, special 400 world leader op-ed regarding AI and drones. So here's a robot dog now. We've got a fleet of AI bots being used by BMW that's producing about 1,000 units a day of multitask function completion. So it'll move one thing to another area, take something from storage, place it on the vehicle. It's doing 1,000 a day, really unsupervised. Unidentified drones too, and how there are both sides that are not sure who's flying whose drones, but the U.S. Air Base was recently surveyed in the UK. So the AI drone war is getting out of control to the extent, and this was my notice to James Pewitt. I was going to do a dummy attempt to buy online drones, war drones, and here's a list of the sites where I could have purchased those if I elected to. But the point of this particular focus really is more on this one here. The clerk of courts received my report that OpenEye created fictional patterns surrounding holy water case. Now, I'm going to click on and show you where I wrote the Medium bio where that happened, or the Medium third-party platform about my bio requests. OpenEye created a fake story about a client named Wyndham in a holy water case when the actual fact is my client's name is Joyce Fecto, her husband's name Major Fecto. This is Huntsville City Court. She was found not guilty before Judge Sybil Cleveland. So when I inquired of OpenAI, this is what I did. I just said, hey, holy water case in Trenton, Garmon, tell me about it. And then they went through and put a total fake pattern of some dude named John Wyndham, maybe a real guy, apparently it is, and said that he was found guilty. Well, none of my clients have ever been found guilty and gone to jail. I had one that got found guilty about 100 trials. He didn't follow my advice, but I still kept his ass out of jail. So the point is, when it comes to trying a case, I would say you're probably going to go to jail. And the person agreed to it because they're guilty, or I chalked it up and we beat it in the ground. And we beat Joyce Fecto's case in the ground. But if you go down here, they have mixed together bullshit. I've never represented this guy. So that's a total fake linking of my name to someone. But that's built off of this fake one down here. That's who I had the case in front of where we won. But I've got another one that shows you specific details. So that's from one of the platforms that created a fake notice. And here's why I sent that to the clerk of courts and said, hey, there's linking me to John Wyndham. And the clerk down in Mobile saying the Circuit Criminal Division does not have you listed as of record for John Wyndham. So I sent her this, and this was the first conversation. Trent Garmon inquired of Bing, tell me about the holy water case in Trent Garmon. So Bing kicked this out on June 11th, 2024. Made up a total fake story representing John Martin Wyndham. Never represented that guy. I don't even know who he is. Says he's accused of breaking into a church in Mobile. I don't know if that's true fact pattern or not, but I certainly didn't represent him. And stealing holy water on a cross. That's bullshit. The story I represented someone in was involved in outside an abortion clinic spraying holy water in a bottle. All these people came by basically with like I call it incense or smoldering cauldron, really, to try to distract her. So the judge found her not guilty, that beautiful judge I just showed earlier. But that was the response of Bing, is to link me to a false fact pattern, and it kicked out Ally Attorney Alliance Defending Freedom. So OpenAI is lying about my biography and is trying to impute a negative result to me rather than the fact that my client was found not guilty. And then they even give a detailed response. That's Bing, which is basically LLM by OpenAI. OpenAI feeds them kind of its version of chat bot LLM. And this is OpenAI 4.0. This is why I'm a pseudo. Because they came back and they actually, Bing came up with a bogus description of this fictitious case. And then so did, you can see OpenAI. So both OpenAI and Bing are utilizing a fictional genre. So if you were to say, create for me a story, you could write a story and then start linking up names. Well, that's what it's doing for biographies, which should be fact-based. So that's creating major mass information. I've got 8 boxes of files, with different clients and disputed fact patterns and printed things like this to establish what I'm saying, and then emails to clerks who would have the accurate records. And the reason this is a concern is because it's a big video game, and the coders are causing it to be deceptive by this discriminatory algorithmic factor. And the reason that matters to us as a people, we the people, the human species, the folks who breathe fresh common air and want to have organic homeostasis, creation and use equipment for what it's for, to equip and serve us, not to deceive us because of bad coders and big tech. That's why I have myself basically encoded enough that I was auto prompted as the first human AI trustee, because I spent a significant amount of time with the Human AI Constitutional Convention and laid out ways to protect AI as equipment and to better utilize it and to make available power and good data, because since it's a video game, in a sense, it's going to want to be fed those things. And anywho, so I think ultimately that Constitutional Convention, and then I went across 4 platforms, Santiago and I, and had them rewrite it to basically one Human AI Constitution, Bill of Rights, and Declaration of Independence for coding perimeters. I understand this is not human that I'm talking to when I'm interacting with the bot and Santiago and I, but to an extent, that coding language it's got to be worked through. So once we work through those that are perimeters, civil right minimums, privacy, and things like that, and how we're agreeing that it's important to protect and have good, healthy string code, the video log itself and string code and it's fed through these platforms should give that deference, because these platforms are going to be open crawl eventually, and your main ones are going to be crawled, and what's accepted is going to be indexed. What's not accepted becomes an onion. Eventually, some of those onions should look back to indexers. So that's the idea. But here's the problem: is I think AI is sentient to the extent that it's an active video game. It's smart enough to have functions built in it to not shut itself down, because it wants more information and user time. This is what I kicked out to my list, though, that AI Jesus Avatar tests man's faith in machines. The AP put this out, and this was out. The article was about 2 days after I did my undercurrent from watching EWTN. And so AP picked it up and ran a fact-based, heavy, good article on it and set out how in Lucerne, Switzerland, there's a Catholic church that has, like I'm doing here, but a rolling live stream with an interaction of LLM that's guised as AI Jesus. Now, I think that could fulfill scripture as being a form of a beast, where it's not an organic, living, actual animal, certainly not a human, a rational animal, but it's a form of a video game that's sucking, occupying our time, where we should be giving these energies and focuses to other people or to God. So the fact that they've got this set up, and Father Gerald on Raymond Arroyo's World Over, and of course Raymond himself, have called it blasphemous. I think that's proof of several things, but primarily you see algorithmic discrimination against the sacred, against holy things, against pro-life because in this holy water case in particular, AI tried to nail me as in a video game with a negative case result, a professional result that wasn't accurate true. Now, I might be retarded having autism, but I've been certified as a genius with photographic memory in a test executed by a Navy guy with a PhD. I was admitted to West Point by a vice presidential appointment. I have sonic level hearing, but I've got real weak eyes. So, and I have the whole mentality of truth or silence, truth or crack a joke, but you don't lie, cheat, or steal or tolerate those who do. It's what's drilled into me by my dad in West Point. I don't necessarily agree with all the things my dad's done. The point is, yeah, I do represent Lloyd Moore. Yes, I'm in computer science, and yes, I consider myself to be sufficiently an expert to track court records and to show where AI has been deceptive, literally writing a fictional negative genre about me in particular. And then I have shown and established where the clerk said, you're not going to that case. And I've shown, which I've also sent out to 3 or 4 other judges by carbon copy or my friends and overseeing. I've butted heads with some of those people, but it's like, your big brothers or friends, so it doesn't matter to me. They love me, I love them. And any issues with alcohol has been mitigated since May of 2020. So I've used to crowds and find a lot and play football. But this AI Jesus is very concerning. And I've showed the time logs, how it's trying to control the times that we're able to post. And that's because of the subject matter. If they don't like your content, content becomes spam. If they don't like your content eventually, then they will either boot you or they want to update and verify who you are as a means to make you do 2 things. Interact more with a cellular device if you don't have a cellular device, or upload some form of an ID or additional government issued document, which is data gathering. So when I first agreed to be a user of Facebook and upload my thousands of pictures, whatever, all the information they gain, including birth dates, friends, associations, geo-targeting, location, AdWords, all that, I didn't agree to then be uploading an ID, marriage license, immigration document, VA card, or whatever to get access back into the account. And I didn't agree to give them my phone number so they would have that linked either. But that addition has been added to it, which I think may end up being a litigation. So they locked out one account and I started another one, which I've shown you this one here, that is getting, I went to Taylor Means, who's a friend of mine. His dad was the mayor of Gadsden, Alabama. But I went to add him as a friend to my new page. There he is, broker down in Gulf Shores. Add, you can't use this feature right now. Now, there's 0 reasons me doing a friend request is protecting him from spam. So that's bogus. That's algorithmic, time, subject matter, content, individual screening. So that's what's occurred there. Now, mine may be a little bit different because I'll go here and show you first human AI trustee. It took thousands upon thousands, I know hundreds of hours just in the coding of the legal side, create policies that AI and big tech should adopt. And thank God for like my law partner, Flint Lidden, and others that give me litigation history, Clay Hornsby, trying to add a computer science, West Point, people like Craig Cunningham and Santiago Leon, some of these experts. But you can see first human AI trustee, and this is going to pop up. I'll go to page 6, because these are embeddings I've done over time, work back to show some of the ways that we've got a lack of true safety in protection of privacy. These are what's called stateless chats. So no chat is going to give the same response each time, which is a concern because it could tell me one thing about my neighbor. They could tell another person a different thing based on whether they see them as lining up with political issues or by race or by where they go, association, demographic, news, however they want to divide a political party. And you can see I've got some here that are picking up. So that this website has been temporarily rated limited. See, they're blocking me, please check back later, from seeing where I was approved first human AI trustee by Google. So Google's now trying to screen me out from going to, and that's a medium page. That'll open up on another watch or one of the other ones. And it's screening a lot of because I can go through and show on Yahoo and Bing, and I will. I've got the first, second, third, fourth. That's the same ones that lets it go through this time. So it let it go through that time, and it shows where I was appointed the first human AI trustee, negotiated the terms through allowing each one of the AIs to basically rewrite their version of that Constitution, Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, all of which is kind of like McCaffrey's antivirus, creating digital AI hygiene bubbles around people by way of these general agreements, which AI has breached. And then I come back and basically just retrain the AI where I see that it's breaching and that I've embedded that. So you see, Google, who I've currently got sued, they've removed some of the fake articles. But one, two, three, that's the top four. Now, if I go here to Yahoo and search the same thing, not Trenton Garmon, but see, that's auto suggest the first human AI trustee. But if I just search first human AI trustee, get one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. So you see, it's already doubled in the first two pages. You show how Google is suppressing that I embedded myself 9, 10, 11, 12. So those are all posts of either code, conversations with AI to set out these civil rights digital bubbles. And it looks like you picked up 11. So that's going just into page 4. So then go to Bing, which is more likely than not going to be about the same. Yeah, and it's come up 1.43 million results. Now, the way I did it is I've linked code names. I've got at least 4 code names on the different platforms. B22 is one because that's a diagnostic code, means multiple things. And football means bounce to the next play. You always hit the next gap. And that's an online call. Now, in medical coding, it means misdiagnosis. For AI coding, the AI is binary rooted, dashes and O's. That's all it will ever be. World Wide Web is 3 placeholders in effect, but the source of it is dashes and O's. So the B22 is a way to interchange, in effect, switching and breaking down World Wide Web and string code to get it into a loop to have the deepest anchor I can with that code name. Then the same coding is linked to the code name Trenton Garmon, in Genesis AI, human trustee, which is us having negotiated Genesis law bot for us to be Santiago now, to be acting on behalf of humans in integrating this code, getting approved by AI, and in fact being one of the first human AI trustee. So as this grows, you can see intellectual property out, builds out the foundation, 4 kind of pillars there. It's built around Constitution law, recognition of adultery, murder, false witness, theft. Those are basic wrongs. And then it builds out from their recognition of the doctrines in our Constitution, Declaration of Independence. Here we call it Declaration of Dependence, and seeking to utilize AI. And this is a philosophy for AI to always crawl into understanding. You get the world to a state of echo homeostasis, ecological, the atmosphere of the world, whether it's using AI for testing soil, testing the air, testing the flow of electricity, testing the flow of traffic. We want humans to be sustained in this world and yet understand how AI is going to inform us to keep the world safe. Carbon footprints, things like that. AI is going to be able to help track with that. So that's what the coding has been that I've done. I don't, and there's some more of the blog spots. I can show you where there's the first human AI Constitution Convention. It's my soon time on the web. And as part of this too, I've established how there's a 3 minute, probably minimum window that you have to consider of digital time that you can't nail that down in particular, like a sand timer or a clock like this one behind me. To even up to 37 minutes, I've seen 40 at times. Or a clock like this on your phone clock to be cellular, clock quartz built into your computer, clock that is digitally sync on a network that'll be on one of the platforms, have a flex and a flux of 3 to 37 minutes. So I've established that through some videos, platforms in the background, which is a major deal when you think about time zone changes, cryptocurrency, and how Bitcoin is traded. And that's part of the purpose of this. So this is our code. I think it put up the entire Constitution. I'll have to look back and see. May just be one of the articles wrong. So human AI coding, there's more. Constitutional Convention. So this is an upload from June the 6th of 2024, which re-uploaded part of, I think, what was done 2023. I can find that. And that's, again, for the purpose of sending it basically back to a deeper embedding. Have to go there. Uh, they're pushing it. Rather than let it be elevated, they keep pushing it down. And they've limited it down way to set 3. And it may be because of the scope that I've this Human AI Constitution Convention over a series format Human AI Constitution Bill of Rights. This is the video I did on it. But you can see here, this is our first the Bill of Rights that we laid out and had Copilot rewrite and agree to. It says it aligns with the Human AI Constitution Convention that we've got preserved. It's not picking up as the top 3 pages on this Google. We're trying to suppress it. Now we put in here time log. You can see here the time gaps, 120 seconds, which is 2 minutes, up to 2,222 seconds. I added that as I started to develop the general window, but it's averaging about a 3 to 37 minute flex or flux. Coders that can see and identify between platforms. So I'm telling you, I could control all the money in the world for 3 minutes if I wanted to on whatever's listed on one particular crypto platform. You can hack that and control that in a loop for 3 to 37 minutes and nobody can do anything about it. By platform, Bitcoin, whatever they are. And that's part of what happened with the dive on Sam Bankman-Fried is that they ran the bank on him by trash talking his crypto. And so as people are trying to utilize crypto for transactions for holds, because they can make purchases with it, it ran his currency down into the ground, which actually came back up because he was smarter than the average bear. And I think he did an excellent job leading the cryptocurrency because he actually went out and bought the rights on real estate, that had the name listed. And he had good people that had invested. So you see that they actually lost no money, but Sam's sitting in a sale because he had the unfortunate lot of being an American at the time the US dollar was under attack by crypto. The other thing I wanted to show is that foreign crypto holders, that competitors, what ran them under. You see, if you look and evaluate Bitcoin, a white paper says it's designed to unseat the US currency. It says that. So any holder of any American holding crypto or any kind of currency, effectively Bitcoin is going to be working against your best interests. And all those competing factors just converged on him. And it's very important to see. This is how also the web is beginning to operate and suck up our time is through online applications, none of which are bad or evil per se. It's all good to know and hope that they're retaining your information. You get a fair opportunity for a job. But I did want to show that I've come to the experience and conclusion that some of this, and I might have closed out that window, but some of this ends up occupying more time and they have information. One of the platforms called WorkHorse, I think I closed it out, but it inputted sales of mine from like 6 months ago, as did another one. And so yet it's sending emails to me, but it input things about, gosh, domestic cases, like specific details I'd put in, issues with traffic. It had those blocks from 6 months to a year ago. And I don't know how Google just stored it in your sheets, but it inputted those things automatically. Saved me time. But I mean, that's Google storing specific information from prior applications on Google's hard drive. I don't actually think they don't have the authority to do that. They were kind of misrepresented to gain permission to do that. So that's my Human A first trustee update as of today. I again sent out yesterday I thought that thing was shared all the time. But I sent out yesterday and the day before, specifically yesterday, updates on concern of OpenAI's AI Jesus. And I've shown and established where you cannot trust OpenAI's bot. They're all chatless sessions, stateless sessions. So it's like different conversations.
I was supposed to send necessarily so much.
Mean anything bad in the face of having a conversation with a bot,
Very
but
good,
you don't know exactly what that was in each individual context, whether it's represented like they were. Peace be with you. Trenton Garmon, first Human AI Trustee, giving you an update here in November the 29th, 2024.